Just left.
Kayla, remember when your daughter made that carrot cake for the cake auction? That cake went for like almost $75. And it wasn't her that bought it? Yeah.
Thank you, honey.
I'm like, does she have cake? She can make you another.
Pass it on down.
Yeah, I'll hand deliver her.
Oh,
She's special.
Okay. You can put it right on the head table.
this is June's go-to, but it was the one that counted.
This was the last one we had, June 14th?
Yeah, August was, no quorum.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And then the October meeting got pushed into
Which
this
is
one, so we
okay.
didn't have to have two back to back.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. 1927. Everybody had a chance to review the previous minutes? I'll make a motion. Andrew Knoll makes a motion to approve the minutes. Renee seconds it. All in favor? Aye. You have the treasurer's report?
I put some reports out, but since I've been here, it got changed a little bit. We opened up with a 188.09 in 5-star, then a balance or a deposit from Rensco for the Mercy overage of $1,873.96 was put in. So out of that $1,873, I paid myself back for paying Alliance Court reporting services. I had put it on my credit card because we didn't have any money. So I paid myself back. Paid John Duran back for the $750 that balanced the account a while ago. Gave Alliance another $40 for a return check fee. Paid Andrew Steele, who's been very nicely waiting for a while, for $74.06 for the domain for our webpage. And then I was informed by Sean that a $5,000 deposit was put into for the AMR con, right? So after all that was paid out again, we now have a balance of $5,383.99.
How much bills will have to come out of that 5,000?
How much what?
How many bills, are we gonna be able to profit some on that?
That's our balance right now.
Yeah, but-
Yeah, Alliance is paid for which cons already?
That was,
For
That would be-
COVA and
that was-
AMR.
Right, that would be, and they had a deposit for tonight.
Okay.
Between those two, that's what it equates to, is the one was for the public hearing, and then partial for this one, and then, whatever they end up, if there's a little
so there
extra.
might be a little.
There may be a
residual on it.
little
So
that
to answer
comes
your
out.
question, yeah.
There might be a little left.
Hopefully.
But no more, yeah, there'll be a lot left. No money from the state until we get the gateway and the taxes filed. Are we going anywhere with that?
Everything's up to date other than doing the 990s, or, well, we'll have a comment, yeah.
So,
Any questions about the report? If somebody wants to copy my paper here that I wrote all over, you're welcome to do that.
that's a lot better than some of them I've seen.
Yeah.
Any other questions for the treasurer? Move on to the training and education report. Andrew Steele.
I think maybe we ought to, as a body, approve the check that Cheryl did to herself, just to make sure that it's in the minutes and nobody comes back later and says, she shouldn't have done that,
I have the receipts
Yeah.
through the PayPal.
Yeah, I just think it,
Yeah, it shows what it was for.
yeah.
Terry and I signed a check out of the account, so it didn't have, obviously Cheryl can't sign a check to herself, so we audited that and started like
But
that.
receipts are here, all receipts are here.
That's acceptable, John, or you're?
Yeah, it's fine, I just,
Okay.
I just don't want down the road somewhere when the auditor gets to it, says, how come we did this?
Well, we had no choice, there
Yeah,
was no money and they had to be paid.
Yeah, I understand.
No,
all
he's
that.
just looking more for a motion to pay the bills,
Oh,
so that you have something on record of what the amount is. And that everyone agrees to it, so it's a matter of record, so that when we do get into the audits phase of it, you'll look at the minutes and it says we paid bills for, $3,000, it matches
Your receipts.
what the receipts are. So that's all that's for.
Yeah,
I'll entertain a motion then. If you wish, John.
well, since I'm gonna probably be the audit committee, I'm not gonna make the motion.
I'll make a motion to repay the bills.
Mike Fuller, Justin seconds it. Any other treasure issues or questions? Now we will move on to training and education. Andrew Steele.
Nothing to report, classes are going on. COVA's gonna be doing a couple of classes coming up. That's about it.
Move on to the program agency report.
Good evening. Since the last time that we met, there have been quite a few classes that have gone along. I will just point out some of the highlights. I do have a few coming up. I have a cold weather emergencies course coming up at Lake Plains. If anybody's interested, I have an opioid prevention tomorrow at the office, if anybody's interested in that. A few other classes throughout the region. There is a stroke simulator training up at Alcott. A Catholic Health OBGYN simulator training where they're actually bringing out this very expensive simulator going on at Rapids. If anybody's interested in those, the information's on the website. I did get my CME schedule up on the website as well. We've had a few approvals since the last time we met. Heartland Fire doing BLS Narcan, Lewiston 1 doing syringe epinephrine. Subsequently, Lewiston 1's also doing BLS 12 lead and went from basic to advanced. Tri-Communities, BLS 12 lead, Wilson Fire CPAP, Rapids for BLS 12 lead. Additionally, Lewiston 1 for CPAP as well. A couple of pads came across, one for American Legion and Wheatfield, one for the Village of Bergen. There have been 2 pad usage forms that have come in. Rapids on July 2nd and Alabama Fire on July 4th. As well as a BLS 12 lead usage report came in on 9/30, September 30th from Rapids Fire. Everybody should be aware by now, City of Lockport Fire Department is up and running as an ALSFR again. They've gotten everything and they are actually operating at that level. We are currently updating the website quite frequently, as well as I want to encourage everybody to sign up for email notifications. Over the last couple of months, question as to the Narcan utilization report has come up. The rule has always been if you use Narcan and you're not an entity that bills for EMS, then if you provide us with the Narcan utilization form, we provide you back with Narcan at no charge, which is a good deal. Because that's, 25, 30, 35, whatever it's going for now. 50 bucks a pop less per utilization. So that form is not only on the Lake Plains website. I can email it to you if you just email me, whatever works. We can get that out. Sometime in January, I think about mid-January, it looks like we're going to be hosting a CIC course. Unknown is the full details, but I expect soon here we should have some more information and I'll get it out via email, get it out on the website, let everyone know that needs to know. The next Niagara County meeting is at the PSTF on the 14th of December. Orleans is the 20th at 1900 and Genesee's the 21st at Elba Fire Department, correct? John?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, the meeting,
Yes.
yes.
Yep.
So that's about all I have.
6:30.
6:30.
Rob, is there a cost for the IT loss?
I'm sorry?
Is there a cost for the
Yeah,
rapids?
$200.
200?
That's for the course, and then like $65, $70 more for the book if you really want it.
And check goes to Made Up to Rapids?
No, to the Action CPR there. If you actually go down, there's a. I'll show you after the meeting, Rich.
Okay.
Any questions for Robert? As far as correspondence, only some bank statements, no other correspondence. Under old business, I just want to verify that Dr. Tackett's. Dr. Tackett's, are you getting the notifications, the emails now?
Absolutely, I'm so excited.
I just want to make sure.
I do have a comment though, there was a general informational email that's sent out by a couple of the hospital systems that there's a shortage in IV solution bags and stuff like that because it's all processed in Puerto Rico. So ALS agency, I mean, it's gonna catch up before they start really producing again, so just, you know, anybody that's using IVs, you know, be conservative with your material. I don't think it affects too many people in here.
Hopefully not. Anybody have any questions for the doctor? Okay, we'll move on to new business. Anybody have any new business to bring to the council?
We're coming along with the AHA, American Heart Association STEMI project. It's starting to come down for the outreach for Rochester region. It's mostly going to be for a little bit of Genesee County, Orleans County issues, working with Dr. Cushman on this. So we're going to do for reporting issues, so that way there's going to be timestamps of when someone recognizes a STEMI, that there's a good process. And we're going to be sending that out to all the agencies throughout the region, so we can get going on to that.
That was the verbiage that Cushman's office had sent out to the Milrums agencies probably, well, Lori, a year ago?
Yeah.
8 months ago or so, the 10 minutes, you know,
Yeah.
recognition, EKG, and then in the bus at the 10-minute mark and transported.
Correct. Yeah.
With signs and symptoms, I mean, there was a time limit on those as well. Because if it like, you know, it's 12 hours old, it's
Yeah,
obviously
it's
outside the
different,
window.
right.
Okay, all right, so it's the same thing, just expanded.
But now it's becoming like a whole Rochester region cooperation. So all agencies will be able to do portals, and then you can do like a silver medal award if you do at least 4 STEMI calls in a period. So we get more information out for that as well.
Any other new business?
In case anybody's interested, the university will be doing a educational, instructional training program, course, whatever you like, in March to satisfy the new requirements that are mandated for you to renew your CIC or CLI credentials. Educational methodology now has to be taken. If you're interested, send me an email, we'll put you on the list.
John, when is it?
Looking at it in March, the end of March, it'll be either 2 3-hour classes or 1 6-hour class. And you'll be required to get educational methodology now once every 3 years, in addition to the instructor update. If no one has looked at the new form and you're coming up for renewal and you were fortunate enough to pass the state exam, that's a requirement. So things are changing. Take a look at it now, because it's not something you're going to be able to do at the last minute. Years ago, they used to say, okay, if you take an instructor update, you're all set. They used to say, if you do Pell's instructor, You can count that, you can count ACLS instructor. None of that will count for the teaching methodology portion. We've been fortunate enough to have a head of the education department, Dr. Smith, put on a couple presentations. We did one last April. The guy's phenomenal. He does a hell of a job. So, just to tell you, those are new, semi-new requirements.
Is there a fee for your program, John?
Yeah, well, it won't be free, and it won't be cheap. Reasonable.
At this time, you don't have a cost?
They're still trying to figure out how much they're gonna charge. Okay, I'll put it to you this way, I do not believe it'll be over 100. That's my guess, but I don't set the prices. And that's not recoupable from the state of New York. The school's already talked to them, and yes, you can charge for it, and yes, this is the direction which you need to go. Okay. We've had pretty good pass rates on the state instructor exams, can't complain at all. So,
Thank you.
yes, sir.
Any other new business?
Over here. I'm not sure if this is new business. Going to vital signs, we need to like recommend people for EMT of the year, things of the year.
Yep. You reading on that?
I think so.
Outside of Hudson Valley.
They only had 2 people that were nominated for EMT of the year, and it's never this end of the state. It's always that end of the state, and we have a lot of people that do a lot of good stuff, a lot of good organizations. I really think we need to think about that and nominate some people.
Now, Sean probably may remember, we did years ago, and did quite well. We got a couple people got awards and so forth. But we're not the kind out here that blows their own horn, so.
Well, maybe we need to start. I mean,
Well, I think someone tonight in Robert's report is what made me start thinking about it. What was do we have any information on the pad usage for Alabama and the pad usage for Rapids?
I got it.
It's not protected, that we can say, hey.
Well, there's no HIP on it, so if you want me to email it, I'd be more than happy to.
Successful out of hospital discharge, or something like that, you can use it, you can hit the chain of survival and that, and you can also incorporate the person in the public that used the DFID. It's not just focusing on us, because you're right, we don't toot our own horns, but
Now, the woman they got,
it would shine some good
EMT,
light somewhere.
I bet you half the people in this room have the same exact,
yes. I mean, she did, it was
Resume.
great, but you got the same thing. A lot of my members meet that criteria, you know?
yes.
I think we should,
The only problem we had, we didn't live in the Hudson Valley.
right.
Let's get an awards committee up and active. It's been inactive for a long time.
And I think like the Niagara EMS Council should be sending, getting somebody, each council
Everyone
should.
should have somebody.
Right, and they send it, and then there would be representation from each one of those counties, and then the chair, and
then
or the
group
chair's
can-
designee, and
Yeah.
just like any other finance committee, be in the same makeup.
The agency of the year out of New York City, I thought they were above most of us. All female, all Hasidic Jews.
Jewish.
Yes. All female crew in the Orthodox Jewish communities in New York City. It probably works very well in that part of the world. It might not work so well out in cornfields, but it works good in there. So I thought they were quite deserving, but most of the rest of them were no different than
Right.
any of us in here.
So I really think we should. I'll bring it up at the Niagara County EMS Council meeting. So if somebody can bring it up to the other ones, that'd be great. And like you said, have a committee here.
Are you volunteering to chair the committee?
Sure. Why not? I will. All right.
We'll get you some help. Anybody interested in helping Cheryl with that task?
I'll help her from our end.
Thank you.
I'll take Genesee.
so if you can see me after, just give me your names and what you're gonna do, it's great.
Any other new business?
Does anybody wanna be on it from Niagara County?
Cheryl?
Oh, yeah.
I'll do chair now.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
John Johnson.
Second.
Second, Steve Cool.